Hello and welcome to San Antonio, Texas. We moved, baby. Let's go. We moved out of New Mexico and we moved to Texas. We packed up and rolled out, and I couldn't be happier. So today, let's review the Volkswagen Golf R. Notice the orange and the white. Still enjoying the wrap. Gotta open the windows. Gotta open the sunroof. Crack the rears a little bit, and let's get going. All right, this looks pretty cool. This is actually pretty dope, dude. Got a little bit of... Got our sunset about to drop right over here. Got all these parking structures. Sheesh. I'm going to give the car a little bit of a wipe down, though. Grill's Garage Glass Cleaner. This is literally the best stuff I've ever used on my windows before. It's amazing. Sheesh. Alright, I'm gonna get you some pics, and then we'll do the review. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pack this up. The weather is absolutely beautiful. It's not quite dark yet, so it's perfect for me to record still. And I found out I parked right below a light that comes on its own. So we will have just enough lighting here to kind of film a little bit of a review. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so here is my 2013 Volkswagen Golf R. It is running the APR Stage 2 Plus 91, 93, and 100 tunes. That gives me the option for 3 different field trims, plus to be able to switch to stock load in case I need better mileage or what have you. The car currently has an APR carbon fiber cold air intake, APR high pressure fuel pump, and the APR 3-inch catback exhaust, which I've now butchered to be a completely custom 3-inch straight pipe exhaust. The car has an integrated engineering catted down pipe, and that's the only cat left on it. It's really the only thing left on my exhaust. Next, we have the inlet pipe for my intake through Racing Line. In addition to that, I have the Racing Line slotted stainless steel rotors. I have drag brand wheels on the car. They're the stock size. I only replaced them because I broke the original wheels that came on the car by driving over a big ass rock. So that sucked. So yeah, they're the discount tire special. I think they were like $98 a piece, but they got me back on the road. Eventually I will get new wider wheels and some nice tires, but in the meantime, again, it literally just got me back on the road. So I am running NGK Iridium something like Iridium 9, I believe, spark plugs in the car. I have R1 Concepts brake pads on the car as well. H&R lowering springs and Coney shocks and struts to keep it nice and stiff and low enough to get performance out of it and looking good at the same time. The car currently has the ECS Tuning Stage 3 clutch kit, rated up to 415 horsepower, I want to say 400 something. So that gives me a little bit of wiggle room now that I'm at this Texas elevation. I should be right at 400, and it allows me to get exactly what I needed out of the car without paying the insane prices that some of these other clutch kits for these Euro cars come in. The last major brand that this car has on it are the Rock Blocks orange mud flaps. These are the short ones, in case you guys are wondering. I get a few comments about it because they do come in short and long. I'd recommend short, especially for me because I'm lowered. Other than that, the obvious, it's wrapped with 3M 2080 series wrap. I have vivid headlight tint for both the fogs and the headlights. Vivid brand, VVI, VID. My car has eBay roof racks and eBay roof box wrapped in the same orange, and eBay window visors. I believe that's what they called, or rain guards maybe. I don't mind eBay. I won't bash eBay as long as it functions properly. I really don't care where I get it from, as long as it serves my purpose and does what it needs to do. I could care less where it comes from. Now, this car made 385 horsepower at Albuquerque, New Mexico elevation, which is pretty high. So this should put me right around 400, being that, you know, San Antonio is a pretty low elevation compared, not quite a mile high. With that, it should put me around 450 torque, because I was right around 420, 420, again at Albuquerque, New Mexico elevation. So I'm rounding up a little bit. I need to actually officially get it dynoed at this level, but you know, being at this sea level and being at this elevation and being on 93 octane, you know, I'm definitely going to get better performance out of the car now. It's getting a little cold out, so now that I covered all of my bases on the outside of the car, I'm going to go ahead and climb in. All right. I do have red bulbs that replace the footwall lighting, so they're just a factory size bulb, but they come in red, so it's literally just plug and play. And now the floor lighting matches the same red as, you know, the cluster, the little lights that come out of the sun visor area, in case you didn't know. So now the entire red interior, well, there is an entire red interior and it matches, so I think that was a nice touch. So, review time. Pros: this car handles like a dream. The torque is what gets you in this car. Having more torque than horsepower and having a lot of low-end boost through the first 3 gears really helps you get off the line quickly, and if you're racing, it really allows you to get a leg up on that race. Now, I love manuals. I absolutely love manuals. I drove an STI with a manual, and this car with a manual is so much better than Subaru. That car throws you around a lot, especially in between gears. Going through first, second, third, you're doing a lot of this. And on this car, you have the ability to have a completely smooth shift like water. You would never even notice that you went from third to fourth, fifth to sixth, what have you. Obviously, being that I'm pushing an extra 100 horsepower out of the car at Albuquerque level, you do feel it a little bit. Obviously, it's not as smooth as it would be stock. Each shift, especially now with my stage 3 clutch kit, it grabs really quickly, so it throws you around a little bit more. But as far as a more comfortable manual car, I would take this over a JDM. Going back to the handling part of things, and this isn't even necessarily for the springs, but this car, being that it has a really short and narrow wheelbase, and you sit really, really low in the car, feels like a go-kart. When you're tearing up the side of a mountain or you're hauling ass through the city, it honestly feels like a go-kart. You're completely grounded. You can feel everything. You feel completely in control. The first time we really took this out, my wife felt a lot safer in this car than she has in my previous ones, because it just handles the turns and the straights so much nicer. All right, this car, turn on some lighting here. This car does not have a lot of room. The seat front to back, when you don't have any passengers, let's zoom out a little bit. The seat front to back has a lot of room. You have a lot of room for your feet. Being a tall guy, there's a lot of, and obviously this is the passenger, but same thing, has a lot of room for your feet. There's a lot of head space here. I mean, like, I have so much room up here. You know, like 8 inches or whatever that is. So, but width-wise, you have a little teeny tiny cup holder, and then you're right next to the other person. You have a little teeny tiny console here where you can shift. Not a lot of room between the armrests, so you kind of have to leave it all the way down in order to have, you know, any room for your elbow here, because there's not a lot of room. It is a narrow, short car. They gave you a lot of room for your legs, but other than that, there's not a lot. Your arms are pretty much right here against the armrests. You pretty much have to use the armrest like 100% of the time. Not really a huge complaint, but it's a small vehicle for sure. I'm gonna hop out of the car for a minute. Obviously, when you buy a car and you're a sports person, you're gonna modify it. You're not gonna leave it stock, you're not gonna leave it boring, but these cars, especially the Mark 6, need mods, in my opinion, to look aggressive at all. The Mark 6R here has a little bit of a bigger wing than the GTI or the TDI did, which helps, but this car, especially this generation, literally just looks like an egg. The Mark 5, in my opinion, was a lot more aggressive. I think it looked a little meaner in the front, and it just had that classic blobby look in the back, but without looking like an egg. It was still kind of flattened in the back, and I think the wing stuck out a little bit more. Again, this is just my opinion, but I don't personally like the Mark 6 rear end as much as almost any of the other Golfs. It literally does look like an egg. I think it takes a lot of work to get the car to look aggressive. And obviously you can fix that with side skirts and a front lip, all of which I need. I know. A rear diffuser. Roof racks help, kind of throws a little bit of shape into the top part of the car. But yeah, I don't think these cars are very aggressive or mean looking, which it takes a little bit of work to kind of get there, especially in the car scene. It's hard to stand out with these vehicles. And I think the Mark 7 and now the official Mark 8 render, they just look so much better. They look a lot meaner, the taillights look sharper, the details look sharper. I think they just did a lot better job. So that's kind of my gripe for the outside. All right, officially, I love this car. I absolutely love this car. Being that I've had it more than a year, should tell you that I love this car. I've gotten rid of every car in between 9 months and a year, and I've had this one going on 3 now. I've put a pretty fair amount of money into getting it where I want, and it's not done by any means, and it's one of the few cars that I would actually consider keeping, and because everything's for sale, right? For the right price, everything is for sale. And I continuously come back to, why would I sell it? It's reliable. My payments aren't too bad. The insurance is pretty decent on it, being that it's a 4-door family car. They kind of get you on the whole turbocharge aspect of it, but for the most part, it's not bad. Not to mention, Volkswagen can be incredibly reliable as long as it's taken care of. It could also be the shittiest vehicle you've ever owned. It just really depends on how you take care of it. I know that if I wanted to get 200,000 miles out of this car, I could. But I'm also sitting on 120,000 miles, and what's really stopping me from trading it in? You know what I mean? There's always that little battle there. But again, considering I've still kept it, means that I really enjoy this vehicle. In conclusion, although the first 3 gears of this car are going to throw you back into your seat and have your mouth wide open because of how much torque and horsepower and boost it has, the last 3 gears are going to be kind of meh. However, for a daily driver and for a project car, this car is a lot of fun to drive. The manual feels really intuitive and smooth. The car is short and narrow, meaning you can tear through the streets, and it honestly doesn't feel like it's even driving. It feels like it's floating. Car parts are expensive. You can build an older car for much cheaper. You could also build a GTI for slightly cheaper, but because the parts say R on them, they upcharge for them. You're going to be looking at the same price as building an STI or an Evo or some other upper JDM car. So take that into consideration if you're going to make this a project car for yourself. Anyways, we're going to go get some driving footage. But if you enjoyed this content at all, if you look forward to seeing anything else I have to put up, please consider dropping a sub, leave a like, leave a comment. That way it helps me out in that algorithm there. Drop a joke in the comment section. Get creative. I want to see them all. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Let's go drive this car.